This episode of TRS is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/totallyrad. Coming up on today's TRS, she's 16 years old and a trained assassin. Does Hanna kick ass?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We got a really big week. We're talking about the a new movie, Hanna, that came out Friday.
I loved her sisters.
Yes.
Tuesday, we are talking. Last week we did a big roundup of downloadable Xbox Live and PSN games. This week we're doing a big roundup of iOS games.
And then on Wednesday, we are talking about the brand new show everyone's talking about. We're going to chime in as well. AMC's The Killing.
Correct, Amundo. Thursday, these guys went and saw, is it Inversion? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Which is a new game from yes.
Namco Bandai.
Namco Bandai.
A third-person shooter coming out in 2012.
Very interested.
And
if we're still around, it'll be fun.
Then we're wrapping it all up on Friday with a episode that was shot live in front of a virtual audience.
Correct, Mundo. A little bit of charades.
That's right.
As it were. And we do want to thank Paco Allen, who sent this in. Great, cool, fun background.
Yeah, Tron background. Tron, of course, coming out on Blu-ray this week.
Yeah.
Or came out last week, yes.
Or that time.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Or 6 months ago.
Cool. We look
Very
awesome.
recently. Very recently.
I'm in Tron.
Today in movies, we're talking about Hanna, which is about a father, played by Eric Bana, who trains his daughter, Saoirse Ronan, to be a deadly assassin. And they are chased down by CIA operatives, played by one of them played by Cate Blanchett.
Yep.
It is from director Joe Wright, who teamed up with Saoirse Ronan a couple years ago for the Oscar-nominated Atonement. This is his first action film. But it's an interesting action film. It sounds very much like a straightforward Liam Neeson vehicle.
And they certainly are marketing it as such.
And to a degree, it is that, but I'm sure we'll talk about how it is very different than the typical action film. Jeff.
Yes, sir.
What did you think of Hanna?
Well, I think the thrust of my opinion is how much it's not a typical action film. There are some wonderful action moments.
I should mention score by the Chemical Brothers.
Right.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Chemical Brothers.
Makes sense.
No Daft Punk, I would say. I didn't love the score.
Oh.
But I did love the
I think
Daft
some
Punk
people
score.
would. I wonder who came first.
Chemical Brothers came first.
Yeah,
definitely.
in music world.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying as score artists,
yeah.
I don't think it was up to.
I think we've done a
artists?
score before, but anyway. I think so. But anyway.
Be that as it may.
Yes.
The movie has the kind of a punctuation of action, but it's very odd stylistically. It meanders into being almost a sweet road movie for a while. It feels a little bit like Little Miss Sunshine, and then she flips out and kills people. Which, if I had to sort of say binary, options, thumbs up or thumbs down on this, although that's trademarked by somebody else, I would definitely, I would say thumbs up, but with reservation. It didn't hit on all cylinders for me, and there were moments where I felt like it was meandering and kind of lost its way a little bit, and there's an odd stylistic feeling to the entire film that never really clicked for me. I really was disappointed by the ending. I thought it wasn't satisfying, and it's wonderful, full of wonderful, easy for me to say, wonderful performances. I'm a huge, what's her name?
Saoirse Ronan.
Good night.
No.
Not her, Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett fan, and she's so great in this. And it's cool to see Cate Blanchett in an action movie, which you don't really see ever. But again, not really an action movie. It's just had these great action moments amidst a movie that's very, very different. And it didn't really need to be as sci-fi as it is. It just kind of didn't earn that stuff, and I don't know, I'm very unsettled in how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think I would. I feel very similar. There were extreme highs of that was amazing. There's a one-shot sequence where Eric Bana gets off a bus, and the whole shot is basically him walking from a bus, walking down into an underground, realizing he's being followed, being confronted by many attackers, and then having an amazingly choreographed hand-to-hand combat sequence, and then running out. And it all happened, I mean, it's almost 10 minutes, and it all happens in one shot. I'm sure it was comped with a bunch of different shots, but it seems as if it's one shot. It was very, very cool.
Very cool.
And then has these other sort of moments where I'm like, I just want something to happen. I mean, there were some really cool sort of emotional moments between the Hanna character and this other sort of, adopted family that's sort of the normal family, the average normal family in the world. But some of that stuff just sort of fell flat to me because I was like, I'm more interested in this espionage, intrigue, and fight that's going on. The other thing is I feel like they set the Hanna character up to be this ultimate badass. But then throughout the movie, she doesn't really do much ultimate badassery. She does some cool stuff, but there are times when she's like running away from people, and I'm like, I know it's been set up. You could kill them with just looking at them. Why are you not doing that and then running? I mean, I get that you're like trying to not do, but like she was so epic. I wanted to see more amazing epicness from her. We saw some good stuff from her, but I didn't see enough of the stuff that was sort of guaranteed with the way that the first attack happened, which was amazing and epic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good stuff here. Then there's this stuff that I didn't really care for myself. So it was a little bit of a mixed bag. And I thought the ending was like, it ends with the title card in a way that I guess is supposed to be sort of
bookends,
profound but it almost
it's
felt
bookended
comic.
with the
Yeah, I get that. But literally the title coming back up.
Yeah, just like the beginning.
Was not only not punctuating for me, but I found it kind of funny. You know what I mean? The way that it just was like, boom, Hanna. I was like, is that supposed to like be powerful? Or I mean, I get the book ending, but for me, I was sort of like, it made me giggle more than the end of an epic action.
Epic.
What did you think,
Hopefully
Daniel?
didn't have epic
What did
act.
you think, Daniel? It was gorgeous as well. Shut up.
I know that was to yourself. Sorry. Inner monologue.
inner monologue every week.
I understand why one would feel the way these ones do, but I didn't feel that way. I thought it was awesome. I lived the score.
I actually did love the score myself.
Yes. Ha! No. But what I thought, so I didn't find it to be, I didn't think it was independently spirited or so different from other action films in that the road trip stuff was happening. I don't think it had any more quieter moments than The Bourne Identity has or its sequels. So I didn't see the Little Miss Sunshine in it any more than other action films, but that are about more than just
Die Hard, Little Miss Sunshine.
That are more than there's
Predator.
other good.
Little Miss Sunshine.
But yeah, those are just like act. But I mean, there's good
yeah.
You know what? I should mention too. So Joe Wright making an action movie like this is very similar to me as James Mangold, who did like Copland and Girl Interrupted, and then he did 3:10 to Yuma. And I love it when a really high caliber filmmaker makes a movie like this. And what I thought was so incredible, what I did think was so unique and different than other, is that every single action sequence that happened had its own identity.
Yeah.
Every action scene happened in a completely different way. Well, whether it was all one shot, slow motion, whether it was like told in blips, like you didn't even see what. And what was great was that it wasn't all, except for that sequence. It mostly wasn't like, let's just show you. It wasn't exploitative. It wasn't like, let's just show you hand-to-hand choreography or gun choreography. Sometimes you didn't even see the action, but it wasn't like, oh, it's cool how you didn't see it. It actually was just, there was always a stylist, like,
the scene where he's
instance,
kicking down the door and constantly trying to kick down, and you're just seeing it through the bullet holes he's put.
Amazing. But like, there's also a sequence where she hops on a truck from a manhole. Like in Indiana Jones, you see the car man, she's got to struggle to get on and grab. You know, like that's like a titillating moment. This was a stylistic, like it just happened in a very stylistic way. So I thought, like,
in the A-Team, you saw the guy go bing, and CG guy come out of the ground and be dragging behind it.
Not so in this movie. I was thrilled by that. I loved that what it was about as well. I understand you feeling the way you did about science fiction elements. Don't get confused by that if you haven't seen it yet, because it's not quite that. But I felt that it made it sort of about a very interesting thing. I dug it. I dug Hanna.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some issues.
I'm
but
confused about the badassery. I feel like there was a lot of badassery.
Yeah, I wish there was more.
Yeah. Were you not dissatisfied by the end?
I was feeling like, as far as action sequences go, it wasn't as grand.
Yeah.
The very last bits, but as soon as that bookend moment happened, because it was the bookend, I did what it wanted me to do. I related it back to what happened in the beginning, and I did have a profound moment. So
Hanna, filled with
Anyway,
it's a really good movie, and if you're a fan of action movies, it's definitely worth watching it as a departure or what also action movies could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll agree with that. And like I said, I would recommend it more than I wouldn't recommend it. It wasn't completely satisfying to me on every level, but I did like how different it felt.
Yeah.
Which is not what you think, but
yeah. Very obviously a fairy tale, as Grimm fairy tales are alluded to it quite often in the movie. I didn't pick up on it being allegorical to one specific. I felt like just in general, this is a fairy tale. I mean, it had allusions to different
Alice in
ones.
Wonderland, many things.
Big Bad Wolf, yeah.
Sure.
But it didn't. But
A Wicked Stepmother.
Right.
There's lots of stuff, but yeah, I don't think
it's not like one.
I didn't get that either.
Not that I got.
Okay.
But maybe we're
Wasn't
all
sure if I'm
dense.
On that note.
It's Hanna and Gretel. All right, everybody, remember to stick around for this day in rad history, but first, Jeffrey Kanata, sponsor us.
I love talking about Audible.com. Audible.com is a repository for the spoken word. It is a place where you can get books, thousands and thousands of books. You can get a subscription so you can get books all the time, and you are able to listen to them and do other things. My favorite thing about audiobooks is that I'm able to multitask, and I can exercise, I can do chores, I can drive, and it makes my commute to places full of content, and I can push through all kinds of great works of literature. I've recommended numerous genre titles on the show. I want to recommend a book I read a long time ago called The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. If you're like me and you love comic books, you love the golden age of comic books, Michael Chabon wrote this wonderful, dense, interesting tale about basically analogs for the guys that invented Superman. It's a very interesting book full of magic and comics and all kinds of great stuff. You can get a free trial for Audible.com by going to, say again?
Free audiobook.
Free audiobook. Perfect one to do. audiblepodcast.com/totallyrad. That is the place you go. You get a free audiobook. And you let them know that you like us.
Amazing. I hope you liked us enough to come back tomorrow. See ya.
Tomorrow on the show, we take a look at some mobile iOS games.
So today is April 11th, and on this day in 1976, the Apple I is created. The main predecessor to all of the personal computers
Yeah, whatever
that we see
happened to
today.
that company?
I think it went away. I think now it's called Orange.
It is funny that now the computers are Macs, but we have like Apple, the company Apple iPhone, but people don't realize, kids don't realize that the computer was called Apple.
Yeah.
They don't? They don't realize that? You don't think they realize that?
Probably not. There's no computer. The computer hasn't been called the Apple computer.
Do you realize that?
That's true. They have probably not been called the Apple computer. Oh, is that the Apple IIe that you
And-
have? It's, no, I got the iMac or I got the MacButt.
And a lot of games were developed with an Apple computer.
Coming out.
Like, it was
Yeah,
just the
shouldn't have
computer
said that. It was
developed games.
NDA.
You know who
Thank
does?
you at David Pivoto.
P. Vito. I think it's
Pavetto.
Veto.
Or Pivito.